This week, not a lot going on this week. The big buck show at the end of the week. We'll get to that shortly. But I debated for a little bit on doing this to my truck, but now that I've got it done, GT signs up the road for me. Knock this one out of the park. The hood looks awesome. This time around, I went with. I actually put what we do instead of just our logo. So put that on there. My phone number. We spread the logos around a little bit more, made them bigger, and to me it was a no-brainer to do this. The companies that we've worked with for now, some of them over 10 years, I don't owe it to them, but I feel like I owe it to them. And I asked a couple of them, and they were, you know, if I didn't want to do it, they weren't going to be angry with me, but I wanted to do it, and the end product just pops. So I'm really happy with it, and there we go. So like I said, the big buck show is coming up this weekend, and let's check that out. The very coveted butter tart. I'm gonna go get me a butter tart. Just to put a wrap on the big buck show, happy to be part of it. I was invited by Heather Norman to host for the day and help out with kind of the seminars and stuff. So pretty cool. Attendance was great early. A bunch of people showed up to have their racks scored by the Fro guys, and yeah, some incredible bucks, like awesome. I think the biggest one was 205 something. So really cool. Another giant freak moose that a guy brought in. It really neat to see all that taxidermy. The show itself. Heather will figure it out. Like we need a show like that, and it brought a lot of people out, but people didn't hang around all that long. And I think Heather's a smart cookie. She'll figure out how to keep people engaged and keep coming throughout the day, and make it a really good show. It came together really fast, and I know she's planning to do it again next year. So all the best to her. She works hard, man. She worked really hard on this, so she should be proud of herself. Really pulled something off. It was cool that this area kind of really needs. So. Speaking of taxidermy, a little while ago, one of the fellows that watches the vlog asked me to kind of go through my taxidermy at the house. So I'll kind of go through fish by fish, and we got a little bit of hunting stuff in here. More to come, hopefully. But yeah, so I'll go through fish by fish. I love this room. This is our living room, our TV room, wood stove, but I could just sit here and look at fish sometimes. If The Bachelor's on, I generally just stare at look at fish. Think of every fish has a memory, and I'll kind of go through them with you, but every fish has a special spot in my heart, and I remember everyone, where I caught it, who I was with, and it's a really cool deal. So if you can afford some taxidermy, and you really want to get it done by guys that did those two, Advanced Taxidermy, they're the best there is, but any taxidermy is neat if it's done well, and they're awesome to look at. So let's go through them. So we'll start here. This is a crappie caught by Birdie on Big Rito Lake out of our shack. And at the time, we thought 14 inchers were huge. So we got it mounted. We've had that one for a long time. But that's hers, so she caught that one. This one here, Chevy will remember this one. This is a pumpkin seed that was .12 off the Ontario record. So I kind of call it, I thought it was going to be short, and I actually called the exact number on the scale. So Chevy was kind of freaked out by that, but that was a beauty. I remember that fish came up. That was through the ice, so pretty cool fish. This slob perch was 14 by 10, and I caught that one with my buddy Phil Stinson. I actually caught that on a set line up on a little lake up by Perth, but when it came up, you were in shock. I'd never seen a perch that big before in my life, and I decided to keep her, and there she sits. I haven't cracked it yet. I've caught a lot of 14s over the years, but not by 10. So she was a plump little girl. So we moved to this wall. we got a bunch of pictures here too, but the fence is to keep Tucker in there if you're wondering what that's all about. But so this one here, 38-pound lake trout caught Great Slave Lake on the Shimano trip a couple years ago. Done by Advanced. Beautiful fish. I still remember catching that fish. It was like 25-minute fight on a jig. It was awesome. Awesome fish. And just some other fish we've caught over the years. That's actually that fish right there. Over here, we got a couple of largies. Hair over 6. I think they're both 6 pounds 5 ounce. I've yet to top that. Maybe this spring down in Champlain. Big pike I got up north. That was 23 pounds 40. I don't know, 40 something, 41, 2, 3. I don't remember, but this is a walleye. This mount is actually about 20 years old. So I caught that walleye at Bay of Quinte. And some people say skin taxidermy doesn't last, but check that out. That was a 14 pluser on Bay of Quinte, caught with my buddy Steve Barnett. And we had given up to the point with Quinte where we basically said if we don't catch a fish this trip, we're never coming back here again. And we had to leave by noon. And I set the hook at 11:45 and landed that bad boy. So Birdie says hers was bigger, which is that one up there, which was 14.6 on a scale. I'll give it to her. This one was 14.5. 14.5. How's that sound, Birdie? So there you go. But some other pictures here. That's another Great Slave Laker from when I was up with Marcus and Corey. Some big smallies. Those are not St. Lawrence smallies. Those are kind of local smallies, but. And the final wall here is my gar mounts. So for those that don't know, if you break a record in Ontario, well, if you used to, if you broke a record in Ontario, they would get a mount provided for you from Advanced Taxidermy. So we got a couple of, this is kind of old news, but these are 2 record fish from years ago now, but there's the mounts. Advanced knocked them out of the park. This one here was, I don't even remember, what was it? 15.79. That one kind of disappointed me because I lost a lot of weight in the transition from the water to the scale. But this brute was dealt with differently, so I wouldn't lose any weight, and he was a hair over 20. And then if you remember, we got that giant last year, 24.5 pounds. That program's gone. You don't get any more mounts, so I just let that fish go. I don't really care if my name's in the book. But plus, I don't really have any more room for another one. So those are the mounts. I love them. I love hanging out here. And then here's the hunting area, right? So Birdie's one of Birdie's first bucks. Some of her other bucks that she's shot over the years. And her and Marcus with the bear. And there's her first turkey mount that I did for her. And if and when, not if, but when we shoot a big buck, we're going to have to, it's going to have to go upstairs above the stairs because there's no room for it down in this room. But one of us has to shoot one first, so that's kind of the race is on for that. So that's the room. Not too many guys get to have that in their living room. Birdie's pretty cool. Right, Tuck? Mom's pretty cool. I know, she's not home. That'll wrap this week. And like I said, hopefully fishing this week. If you are still ice fishing, you're crazy. But be careful. And have a great week, everyone. Hopefully I got some fishing footage for you next week.